So in this podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the modules that are offered on the course, Women's Wisdom. And some of these modules are offered by both Amanda and Dom together, and others are offered individually, some by Amanda and some by Dominique. And I just want to say a little bit about the benefits of having two facilitators on the course, in that you'll receive what we could call the two different fragrances of their styles, and experience and the different teaching styles, and yet the nectar you will recognise is from the same source. So Module 1 is offered by both of us, as it's the introductory weekend. And we begin by asking the question, what is healing? And this is a really important inquiry question right at the start of this course, for us as a group and individuals to discover what is more than the intellectual answer, if you like, as to what healing is, for us to discover what feels true for each of us. And then we'll begin looking closely at the role of what is the role of the practitioner. And Dominique's going to talk a little bit about how we'll work with that.
So what I was thinking about that was when thinking about what is the role of healer, or what is the role of healing, and how do we receive healing, how do we extend healing, I was thinking the question that comes to mind to me is what gets in the way of it? What gets in the way of us being in the role of a healer? What gets in the way of us receiving healing? And Rumi's poem came to mind, so I'm going to read that now because it felt quite relevant. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And I guess we could put in that, your task is not to seek for healing, but merely to seek and find all barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So I guess in exploration of that role of a healer and finding ways to offer that and extend that to our clients, it's kind of going to be some work for me around, I almost call it like the inner gardening work, of attending to one's own garden, of what gets in the way of that. Either what gets in the way of that as me in role as practitioner or therapist, or what might get in the way of that, of my client of receiving that, and how can we create a space where we can unpack that gets in the way of something that is actually so fundamentally there for us and so abundant. And just in a sort of flow, really, if we let it flow, then, healing can occur with great ease, I believe. But I do think that sometimes we need to do a little bit of the gardening work to sort of unpick what gets in the way.
Also in this first weekend module, we'll look at beginning to approach the nervous system, sort of bringing the physical body alongside all the other exploring we're doing. And we'll look at how sometimes feelings from past experiences that we could say we weren't able to meet at that particular time, meet it fully. And some of these old remnants of feelings may have become held in different layers of the body. So we'll look at how we can support the physical body into resting back into deep relaxation and just gently allowing the return of the flow and the harmony of the physiology of the body, if you like. So yes, we'll start this first weekend with really exploring the nervous system and our feelings, and how sometimes they can be projected and held onto our physical bodies.
So I would say that we're also going to be looking at the role of forgiveness in healing. What does that mean? It can sound a bit sort of spacey or flaky maybe. What is the role of forgiveness in healing? But I would say there's something there about freeing ourselves from the blame and guilt culture by taking back projections and just bringing some simplicity and relaxation to our work and relationships. So it's almost like as we remember ourselves, and I almost have a sort of visual sense, like Amanda's talking of working with the body to remember itself, to bring it back into a state of wholeness. and we're going to be using the process of self-inquiry alongside body work and natural healing techniques. We're going to be calling forward a sense of integration and undoing the knots that bind us to our past, or the knots that defend us against the present moments. So bringing ourselves back into that natural flow, if you like, of the present moment. And that's all going to be happening on that first weekend. So we're not going to talk now about each module, but we're actually just going to speak a little bit now about individual modules that we're also teaching. So Amanda's going to talk a little bit now about module 3, which is going to be a weekend dedicated to
natural healing ways for women's life cycles. So as we're taking as part of the model of healing women's life cycle, that's why we've called it Women's Wisdom. I just want to say right from the start, this module so makes my heart sing. I love the focus of this module and the fact that we explore so many, or what I would call simple and yet incredibly powerful tools, all of which are ones that women can use in their daily lives. So as a course, we're also really supporting and encouraging that part of the role of a woman's healer, health mentor, is education, the sharing and the passing on of healing knowledge and wisdom to other women in their communities. This grassroots level of passing on healing wisdom has such a rich, long legacy, all of which supports the values of self-reliance in a very positive, integrating and empowering way for women. So students throughout this module will be encouraged to what I call actualize the knowledge, to use the tools in their daily life, as well as the times we spend exploring as a group, to make friends with the tools, if you like, in your medicine bag. So then if you feel drawn to use castor oil packs in your medicine bag, you can sing their praises from your own direct experience. And I feel this is the most contagious, enthusiastic way to support other people to use these natural healing tools in their own home. Or maybe if you're going to suggest to a woman that she adds some particular foods to her diet that could be of assistance, if you know these foods for yourself, if you've used them and if you've experienced their qualities, all of this deepens your ability to be able to communicate clearly to others. How we use the natural healing ways is a topic we'll explore. So I suggest that we come in through another door, maybe another door than we've used in the past. And what I mean by this is if we take the remedies or use the natural healing tools in a way that reinforces that there's something wrong with us, then the outcome is most likely going to be a temporary fix. Whereas the power of any remedy, any healing tool is through the expression of loving yourself. So the other door is one of using the remedies, healing tools, an expression of self-kindness, self-love, we could say. We use the tools as a way of being gentle, compassionate, kind, and loving to ourselves. Many times when a particular area of the body experiences symptoms, disease, diagnosis, it's almost human nature to hold back or withhold this area of the body. We can even sometimes disassociate in different ways. Of course we do this because we believe this is the way to protect ourselves, the way to defend ourselves, the way to feel safe. So it's not that that's wrong, it's just that we're going to come in through another door and use many of the tools that support and assist the reconnecting with the natural flow and harmony of the physiology of the body. Tools that support movement and flow of the physiology, tools that warm, nourish and nurture the physiology, tools that whisper saying yes to life, tools that support relaxation, and most importantly, tools that signpost us to a deeper knowing, a deeper trusting, and a claiming of responsibility for our health, well-being and life as a woman. So I really look forward to this module, and I hope you feel to join us and join our circle of amazing women healers, health mentors, coaches.
And I'm going to talk now just very briefly really about Module 4, which we've called Ancient and Modern Wisdom for Women. And what I would say really, the sort of fundamental essence of that in some ways is women have the cycle of the universe within them. It's a given. You know, that's a big statement in a way, and I guess we're going to be exploring what that actually means. But we have a different path or a different experience, if you like, to men who will heal themselves maybe in other ways, in different ways. And of course there's lots of overlaps to that. But women do have this physiology that has the flow of birth, death and rebirth within them, within our very body really. You know, we have the creation of the universe, the potential of that within our bodies. And we're going to be really looking at how do we work with our life cycles and our body cycles in a way that can really help us to stay in the flow and health of our life. So if we can learn and understand about ourselves in these cycles, then we can learn something very strong about trusting the flow of the universe, because when we trust ourselves in that universal flow and what happens in our bodies, and we know how to support that and to look after ourselves, to nourish ourselves in that, then we know how to trust the flow of the universe. So when we hold ourselves as women in a place of shame or guilt or judgment or fear, then we disconnect from this wisdom that is inherently ours, that's our birthright, if you like. So we're going to be learning from the physiology of the body, paying attention to how we inhabit ourselves in our experience as being informal as a woman, and how we relate to that. So we're going to be touching upon sexuality and just the different stages of a woman's life in that way, and what gets in the way of resting in the grace of that flow. So we're going to be learning some tools of focus, the physiology of women's life cycles. We're going to be learning about charting menstrual cycle as a way of self-inquiry, and also about the heart-womb connection, a very ancient meridian that works from the woman's heart to her womb, and also from her womb back up to her heart. And in many cultures, the woman's uterus, her womb, is called her second heart or her other heart. So we're going to be sort of doing some practical bodywork skills around working with that meridian, and then some other bodywork skills which will go along to nourish the woman in her life cycles. So that's a little bit of a taster about that module. Of course, if you want to find out more, have a look at the prospectus. Feel free to get in touch with us, to ring us up, to Skype with us, to email us. We're always happy to talk further about what this course and this very exciting training is going to be able to offer.